I realized I'm going to have to kind of go fight for myself and learn how to do this. And I thought I needed the gallery to do that for me, to promote me. I realized, they're not doing it. I had to do it.
Well, hey there. This is Miriam Schulman, your curator of inspiration. I am so grateful that you're here. Today, my guest is a full-time artist who focuses on multicultural figures and faces. Her original source of inspiration came when she uncovered her grandfather's treasure trove of photographs that dated back to the earliest 20th century. Please welcome to the Inspiration Place, Lynn. Well, hey there, Lynn. Welcome to the Inspiration Place. We're so happy that you're here.
Thanks, Miriam. I'm excited to be here.
So Lynn joined my inner circle in January after reading the book Artpreneur, and you have now risen to the top as one of my star students of like really all time, I might even say. Like what you've
Wow.
done is incredible.
That's all on you, Miriam.
I will take credit for that. Thank you.
I did a little of the work, but you should
No,
told me.
you did the work, but you listened to me, and not everybody. People ask me, what percentage people get results? And I'm like, well, the percentage of people who listen to me, like they get the results, like
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
do everything I say, you'll get the results I'm promising. That's all. Okay. Because you're clearly selling art. So do you mind sharing numbers?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. So can you share like how much you made as an artist in 2023?
I think to say 30,000 would be stretching it for 23.
And
It
was
was a,
that gross or net?
my galleries were not, they did not sell very much for me. So it'd be
Okay.
gross.
All right. So 30,000 for the whole year.
Yep.
This is June 5th that we're recording this. Do you know how much you sold this year?
I think it's probably been 35, 40,000 so far.
Okay. So I just wanted to like be very clear that in 5 months, you sold more in 5 months than you did all of last year.
I know I'm very excited about that too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's really cool. And then a lot of that has been the last 2 months.
Correct.
What I want people to understand though is how this happened. So we're going to break it down for them, like what has really made the difference. But before we get there, we're still talking about numbers.
Okay.
So you did a challenge. I challenged all of the people inside the Artist Incubator to make $5,000 in a month. And we did have a couple people who who did the challenge, who succeeded in the $5,000, and you actually more than tripled that.
Yep.
Tell us what you made that month.
I made right just over 15,000,
There we
just
go.
almost on the dot. Yeah.
And then what I love is that this wasn't just an outlier. The following month, you made
Almost 10,000 exactly.
that's more than I thought. Like the last time we spoke, I thought it was 8,000. Okay.
So you've made my goal each month go from 5,000 to 10,000, which I keep laughing, thinking, I don't even know how I'm going to do that, but I keep pushing it. So
I don't see why you shouldn't have 10,000 every month now.
yeah,
It's like this is your new normal.
well, which just blows me away. So I got to work hard in June to get some checks to come in.
How does it feel to blow your own mind?
It's pretty exciting. I'm actually very proud of myself, and it's really blowing my family's mind, which is fun to see.
Yeah.
They're super excited.
I know you have $2 and you have 4 kids. Is that did I get that
Two
right?
girls and two boys, all adults, four grandchildren. So
Yeah.
I'm not I not just starting out, but just starting out in a different way. So
What do your children think? Are they proud of you?
they're super proud of me. Our youngest, who's actually 32, he even set up a Zoom call before we got on to make sure my headphones were working properly. Because he said, Mom, you've got this, you can do this. And he wanted to make sure they were coming in, loud and clear. So they're all super excited.
Remember how nervous you were when I asked you to come on the podcast?
It shuts you down so fast. I said, there's no way I could do that. And then I
I
thought, I'm not going to grow if I don't start taking these risks and stretching myself. So I think I emailed you right back and said, I don't know why I'm saying yes, but let's go for it.
I'm so glad you said yes
I am too.
because
Thank you.
this isn't even about you and me. Like what we're inspiring, women who don't see what's possible, men who are artists who don't see what it's possible, people who think they might be too old to do this, and you're a grandmother.
Yep.
I mean, like, come on. This is possible for all of us, no matter what our
Yeah.
age is, no matter what our gender is, no matter what kind of art you create. I'm sure they're very curious about what kind of art you create. So let's talk about that now.
Okay, sounds good. I create mainly figures, although you wanted to show a painting of a pig and a turtle and a bird, which makes me laugh.
I love that
Um,
painting.
I love that painting too, so maybe someone else will love it if you show it.
Yeah, maybe I'll buy it. I don't know.
Okay. But I paint mainly figures from the early 1900s. Started out painting strictly from my grandfather's trip around the world, which he took in 1923. And I have all those old photos. So that was my beginning inspiration. And then I kind of veered off into painting Native Americans from that same era, early 1900s, and keeping with the theme of, black and white kind of grainy photos. So I couldn't get too precise on what the photo looked like, because I don't want to copy a photo. I want to just kind of get a place to start and then take it where it seems to want to go. It's like a painting starts to tell me a story
Mm.
as I move along, and it may take 5 layers of paintings to find that story to make it come out, but that's just the way I work, and I just love getting lost in it and seeing what happens.
And are you working in oils or acrylics?
I used to only work in oils. Now, most of my paintings in acrylics because I'm going a lot bigger too. I've always loved to go big, but I didn't realize how to do it. And now I'm starting to use acrylics for those first layers, which is a lot of fun. I'm having a good time with it.
I'm really glad. That's one thing that I found, and you can tell me if you agree with this, is that creativity loves constraints. So if the constraint is you have to do this bigger now, like you have to get creative, well, how do I do that? I know you actually feel the same way about commissions, right?
Oh, yeah. I love commissions.
Yeah, tell us
Um,
about that.
but I used to not like commissions because I was terrified of failing, and I didn't do very many of them. But part of that also was people didn't know I painted. Even now, people say, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea you painted," and it's just a cute little hobby you've done for a while. I said, "No, it's full time. I paint all the time." So I think that's how I'm getting more commissions now is word of mouth for one thing, and then I'm also reaching out to past collectors and getting some more from them. So,
So tell us about that. So you've built an email list, which you never did before.
correct. And still working on that. Long way to go with that, but I think that's just a lifelong commitment is to keep adding names to that. I think just going back and contacting people that have bought paintings before and just kind of reminding them who I am and getting more and more brave and bold in that area to just to say, "Hey, I'm doing this. I'd love for you to come see it." And the big month that I had, the 15,000, I actually invited people into my studio and showed them I had found 60 pieces of art on paper that I had previously done and stuck them under a bed. And so I pulled them all out and realized they were really pretty darn good. So I had them professionally matted. So they're ready to go in frames. They really looked good, and started inviting people, telling people I had some small works plus all the big ones. And so that got a lot of people into the studio. That was fun.
That's great. So you're going to do that open studio again, right?
I'm definitely gonna do that when we get
That's a
back to
great
Fort Worth.
idea.
Yeah. I've got all kinds of ideas for when we get back into Fort Worth in the fall. So that's fun because I never even planned ahead before. I just went out and painted.
What do you think that your biggest struggle was last year with selling art? And you are we're in galleries. There's a lot of artists who feel that the gallery is going to be their knight in shining armor and make all their problems go away. And what the work I've done with you has been the opposite. You were in gallery or are in galleries, and it was more like, well, how can I also sell on my own to supplement? Is that right?
Correct. I'm still in one gallery. I pulled out of a couple. They were not promoting me, and I get that. They have a number of artists and they can't, put everyone up on the walls. It was on my bucket list. A lot of artists, including myself, that was a dream of mine to be in a gallery, especially one here in Santa Fe, which is such a high art community. And I've been there. I'm doing it, 6 years and in a beautiful gallery. But, they are committed to a number of artists. So I realized I'm going to have to kind of go fight for myself and learn how to do this. And then I ran up against the wall, which I'd been telling myself that I can't do the business side of the art world. That's why I thought I needed the gallery to do that for me, to promote me. And when I realized, they're not doing it, I had to do it. I needed help to learn how to do that. Step in Miriam once I read her book.
Okay, so let's talk about beyond. I'm going to call this beyond the book.
Okay.
What have you learned being in the program or working with me? What skills have you learned that's really pushed you forward?
I am a kind of a hands-on person, so the book is what got me excited, completely got me signed up. I was ready to go. But if I would not have signed up and had you walking me through how to do an email and shown me, given me the templates, or to talk to people, I mean, literally I'd write down what you would say word for word to give me the courage on how to approach people. Those were huge because I can read all day and then forget when I go to bed. And so for me, the program, not only with you, but with the other people around me, I get so much out of just that. And then the small pods, we're really starting to get into some of the details of some things that we're all trying to figure out together. So that's been good.
So I created the pods, just so you know, and especially somebody who maybe have been in the incubator in the past and are not in it currently. We just created this pod system. And what it is it allows artists to meet in groups of 5 people. The same 5 people stay together as a cohort and they meet the same time on the same day of the week every week. And we facilitate the reminders and the Zoom link and the sign up and all that, and we do give them a guideline on what to do, but I'm not in there. So can you give me a behind the scenes peek of like maybe some of those conversations that are happening inside your pod?
Well, I think we've met 5 times and, always kind of get to know each other. And now we check in with each other. We always say, what are your wins from last week? And we go through our big win and then what didn't go so well. And we just kind of discuss what's inspired us that week. And if we've listened to a podcast, read a book, done something, gone to a gallery, we go into our goals for the next week. And it holds me accountable so I can say it was a win.
So, Lynn, a lot of people listening to you now are going to say, well, that worked for Lynn because she's so confident. Can you just tell everyone like how you're a shy introvert? Because they're not going to believe me.
I'm on the far end of the introvert sign. And I have always kind of I compared myself to others. And that was a big part of my art fear, is what would others think about my art compared to someone else's. And so I'm learning, like, if they don't like it, that's okay. Move on. They don't need to be on my list.
So you've done all this success, first of all, outside the traditional gallery system. I mean, I know you're in galleries too, so maybe that's
Right.
contributing some of it, but you're not doing in-person big shows with setting up the tent.
No.
Okay. You're not spending endless hours creating content for social media.
No.
Okay. That's what
That's one.
go ahead.
Social media is another one. It's hard. If you're a shy person, it's hard to make yourself do that. So I'm trying to get better at that too. But I have seen already just the outreach that an email list has over social media.
Yeah.
That was one of the big things you convinced me of, and it's proving true.
Okay. All right. So I want to make sure that everyone can see your beautiful art. So you can go to Lynn Samus, and Samus is Samis. And is it lynnsamusart.com? Is that correct?
That's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah. And we will link that in the show notes. And then what is your Instagram handle?
Lynn Samus Art.
Same thing.
Yep.
Okay. Lynnn
Yep. SAMIS.
SAMISART, which we will link that below here too. But pop over, follow Lynn, check out her amazing art. Because even if you don't consider yourself an art collector, which by the way, I am an art collector and I do feel that artists should collect art. It's like really good karma, just so you know. Yes. But be inspired by what she's doing. It is absolutely her story and her art is so incredible. And every time I look at it, I'm just in awe of what you've accomplished. Do you have any last words of advice?
Just try something. The worst is you might fail at it. You might really succeed and do great. But if you don't even try, you're never going to know. Failing is better than not trying. Just step out of your comfort zone and go for it.
I love that. Successful people are willing to do things that unsuccessful people aren't. And
Yes.
that's just the way it is. All right, my friend. Thank you so much for being with me here today. Until then, stay inspired and bye for now.